with yet another Vegeta profile. Um, this is my fifth top 8 finish with Red Vegeta. I just wanted to go over the list quick that I used at the event at Got to Know. And yeah, I'll be trying pretty quick about it. I finished fourth for the event overall and was a great time. But yeah, let's get this started. Um, we've done a million videos, so I think we all know what Red Vegeta does. In terms of what we ran, to be real quick, we ran a playset of the 1-drop Gohan, who will search both the super combo and the 4-drop Goku, and obviously with the leader ability, we'll get that draw engine going. You know, doesn't always live, but there are decks that just can't clear it early, like yellow, and some blue decks for some reason just can't clear it, but, you know, whatever. We obviously run 3 copies of Broly Omen because people still fall for this and don't respect it and get penalized by it. I caught at least, I think, one person on the weekend with it. We obviously run 4 copies of Dual Attack Goku because he's broken. This is more of a more recent-ish update that I put in after the ban list. I put in 2 copies of the Dragon Fist Goku, the Penetrating Fist, sorry. Um, I found that, you know, people like to floodgate, like to spam a lot of defenses, and it's quite nice when you face green decks, and it's nice against yellow, and it's nice against blue. Be able to just like guarantee a damage or rip cards that are hands so they beat the crit swing is really, really nice, and it does draw a card, which does actually come up every now and then. Sometimes when you're playing Red Vegeta, you did a huge defense, and you just don't have, you know, like what you draw for, you have one card in hand, you either choose to charge and not be able to draw with leader, or you skip charge to draw with leader. So having cards like this that help you kind of avoid those scenarios and maintain hand size does matter a lot. 2 copies of Vegeta, cards broken, really good against anything that's blue in particular. Any of their like SCRs that like will clear the board, like Beast Han, or when dealing with like UBSR or 9-drop Cell, things like that. This will do that trade against them and clear them back, or at least make them small enough where you can clear with something else. 3 copies of Beastie Boys because the cards are broken. Obviously, we have our free play package and the Broly as a one of. I found 3 Goku Black was enough. I had tried it at 4, but 3 is probably the number. 2 the Vegeta, and then 1 Broly. Broly does come up quite a lot. There's sometimes an argument to even run 2 just because Saiyaman is kind of everywhere, but it's usually fine. 2 copies of Defeating the Demon. I personally don't use his card that often, but there are matchups where it matters, and a 20k double striker is a 20k double striker at the end of the day. And then after that, we move into our counterattack package. So we ran 1 copy of the Versus card. Card's pretty nice. Being able to bean your leader is obviously a boon, and 25k double striker for 1 does matter. One of my games, I just paid 1 and played it on my turn and swung 25 double strike. It was really, really nice. Card's great. I only own 1. Maybe it's a 2 of. I don't know. We ran 3 copies of the Gohan Negate as usual because card's really nice. 20k draw 1 and negate an attack is really valuable. 3 copies of Vegito. Card's great. 3 usually is enough. If you find your locals has a lot of Arinsu, you might make an argument to run 4 because then you could always like combo 2 cards to beat one of their swings, and then Vegito, so that you can awaken early on their turn 1 or turn 2 if they're aggressing against you, especially if you go second. It does help a lot in that type of scenario. Imposing presence because card's great. You know, sometimes all you need to do is just make sure every attack they do is minus 5k, and that can honestly save you, especially when you combine it with the Frieza. Being able to basically be Iron Broly at 25k leader is really nice. 2 copies of Dance in the main. It's about enough. I have more Dance on the side, but honestly, a lot of decks right now just have a lot of ways to build Z energy, and it just, the card kind of feels kind of whack at times. And there are times where this card just feels like the most broken thing in the universe, and come out with Broly is stupid. We went 2 copies of Token Negate. You still have to respect stupid stuff like Light in the Dark. You have to have these. And sometimes there are decks where if you just like Dance and Token Negate, you just win because they can't push anymore. And then the last counterattack we ran was Flight of the Grand Eagle. Card's great, 100 plus 100k. Your opponent doesn't respect your board and clear your board first. You just get out of any attack you need to. And then after that, we ran, obviously, 4 copies of Cumber. Well, surprise, we're running a red-black list because Turns out banning the checkland didn't matter. Like I said before, they should have just locked this to black leaders, and they refused to do so. So we're just gonna keep taking advantage. Just like how people are playing white black Belmont, same thing. They need to lock this. We ran 3 copies of Tenacious for the same reasons. They need to lock this and they won't, so we're going to keep abusing until they hit it. So, c'est la vie. We ran 2 copies of the combo attack overwhelm. I found that it was sufficient. You could go to 3. I do sometimes think to myself, man, I wish I did have a 3rd copy here to do a little more. But, it is what it is. And I run personally a copy of Trunks Overseeing Time. I'm a superstitious fellow. I personally believe in really bad luck, where I will definitely always warp my SCR on turn 1 or turn 2 off my own mills. So I'd like to be able to pick it up, but I'll be honest, it doesn't happen often. It did happen to me once where my SCR did get warped, which kind of sucked. It was the only game I lost to, actually. But that being said, you could not cut it. I'm a superstitious guy, so I'm going to keep it, but honestly, you probably just cut this and go a 3rd of the dual name. And then we went 1 copy Destructive Disc. This card is absolutely broken. Minusing the board and then ignoring barrier portions, super nice. And even the 20k boost does come up. I've had games where it's like that plus 20k boost just saved me. I'll bait my opponent into a swing. They combo a few cards and I just go, yeah, pay 1, beat it. And they just depleted a lot of resources to get nothing done. Really, really strong. And then I ran the Vegito SCR. Card's really nice, but I also not going to tell someone, hey, go buy a $450 SCR. I think that's a ridiculous thing to tell someone to do. You can run other options like Panzino, obviously. There's things like that you can just run and move on with your life. So I'm never going to tell you, hey, go spend $450 on a singular SCR. That's stupid. Yeah, Panzino, Line in the Dark, even Unbridled. Like, there's always good options. That's the main list. Moving quickly on, the Z deck is the same it's always been, I'll be honest. 1 Gogeta, 2 Mighty Blast, 1 Super Saiyan Gogeta, 1 Goku, 1 Defender of Life. It didn't actually use this one today, but... on Saturday, but it didn't matter. 1 SSG, 1 Jiren, 1 Sin, and 1 Boo. Boo and Sin. I'll say Gogeta, Mighty Blast, Boo, and Sin, and Goku were my most used. Gogeta, I think, might have came up once. Crimson didn't come up once near the Defender. Jiren did come up at least once. But that's not always the case to say, oh, we shouldn't run these. It's just, it didn't come up. That's all. And then, oops, I hit the wrong button. That's okay. And then for the sideboard, I ran the 3rd copy of Explosive Dance. So basically making a total of 3 between the main and side. I think it's sufficient. I went 1 copy of Koitsukai. It's honestly just for decks that play cards on your turn. Bojack. You can make an argument to run 2, but anyway, like Bojack, Tapion, Cooler Mill, Arinsu. Like, there's a lot of decks that actually just play on your turn. To be honest, almost every deck in the game plays on other players' turns at this point. Like, there's an argument to run more, but I'm greedy. 2 Rapid Reversal. Card's still pretty good. Really nice against matchups like Arinsu. Being able to just KO their whole board is kind of nice. And, obviously when someone tries to be, you can go, does that miss a counter? You go, yeah, that's nice, buddy. Let's just get that guy out of here. Like, go away, Burly Crown is broken. This honestly won me 2 games by itself. Really, really good card as usual. Protected People is for those more aggressive matchups like Panzino or Rinsu, ones that will actually push you down early where you don't really get the chance to set up Dance, or Dance just doesn't work enough. Unfortunately, I didn't need to side it today. I guess fortunately, I never had to side it in. So, yay me. And I ran 2 copies of Heavenly Wizard of Migra. A lot of people like to go 3. I'm very greedy. I'm going 2. I don't care. Deal with it. It came up every time I used it against Saiyaman. Like, I would side both in each of my games. I would see both copies, and I would use them at the right time. So, good for me. 2 copies of BMS. Card's really nice. Really, really nice against Saiyaman. It's nice against a few other, random decks, but mainly for Saiyaman to make them have to, do awkward lines of play to deal with it. And that, to me, is good enough, because then if they're not doing their stuff optimally, they're kind of getting screwed. And then we went 2 copies of Wolfang Fist. This is more just to counter Panzino. If they ever try to go in with their stupid SS4 Goku Z battle card, you just do this, and you kill their Gohan before it gets the auto to get the increased power. So they just tap 2 for nothing. It's It's pretty comical, actually. Card's nice. It did not come up today, but it doesn't matter. Like, the card's pretty good. I would keep it on my side anyways and just punish anyone who doesn't respect it. That's the way I'd view it. In terms of my matchups, round one I faced Saiyaman, a friend of mine. It was a good match, but unfortunately I just out-resourced him. I saw my Goku blocks and I just grinded him out, cleared out his stuff, kept clearing his stuff, kept warping his hand, and honestly that's kind of all it took. And unfortunately for him, he was running Gohan Piccolo instead of Beast Gohan, instead of Gogeta SCR, and unfortunately, like, Gohan Piccolo is great. It's not Gogeta. Gogeta SCR is broken. My second round was against my friend Claudio. He actually came second in the event overall. He was my only loss. He was playing Saiyaman as well. Turn one, I milled my SCR, which kind of sucked. And I was actually doing pretty well overall in the game. I kept clearing every single 8-drop he played. I had things under control. However, I didn't draw a single explosive dance. Turns out they're at the bottom of the deck. And I did a really stupid line of play, and this is kind of like, this is on my fault. He was going to go to 5 energy, and he was already at 5 life. And I only had 5 cards in rest. And me being stupid decided, you know what would be a great time? I should use this time to pay 2 to play this Trunks to pick up the my SCR so I can use it next turn and just kill him next turn. But that was a horrible idea because that made it where I had 7 cards in rest mode. So when I passed turn, my friend went pay 1 surmounting, go to 3 life, pay 4 play Gogeta, and then play 7-drop Frieza, the Emperor U7 or whatever the heck it's called. And at that point you can't win because Emperor U7 is just a little too powerful at what it does. And then, so my homeboy got me, which is good. I'm very happy for him, but I definitely should not have done that. Round 3 was against an old teammate of mine from back in the day, Frank. Shout out to Rampage and Broly. And he was on Nameku. Unfortunately, he had taken a very long break from the game for about a few years, and he came back, and he still did okay, actually. He actually finished 9th, I think. But he honestly had no clue what my deck could do, and I personally have topped 4 times with Nameku last year's regional, so I know the deck like the back of my hand, and just the poor guy it was a very disadvantaged situation for him. Not to say he played poorly, just he didn't know what to expect. And I kept hand controlling him, ripping his hand, drawing a lot of cards, and just answering any line of play he wanted to do. So, it was unfortunate. Round 4, I faced a blue Daima Goku. The gentleman said that he used to play Red Vegeta. I played my game. I just kept swinging at his unisons, keeping those clear. I abused the fact that Broly Crown is a card, and I know that they want to leave energy up. I forced him to, at one point I believe I forced him to Sparking, and then he untapped the 2 and I went Crown, and I forced him to play the Vegeta counter play from the archetype, and then the next turn he left 2 up, I did it again, and I ripped out a crucial card, and yeah, I basically just grinded it out a bit, ripped his hand more and more, built some more value, kept clearing stuff, and then eventually I just paid 1 for I'm pretty sure it was that game, I paid 1 for the Goku Frieza and just swung 25 double strike at him, and I think that's what sealed the game if I remember correctly. And then the last match was against Blue Daima again, against my friend Axel James. It was quite unfortunate because I won. Well, it's fortunate for me, but it's unfortunate because this is the second regional where we're both in contention for top 8 or higher, and I ended up gatekeeping him and making it where he doesn't come top 8. I think he came 12th or 13th with his Daima, and his list respectfully was better than the other gentleman's. He gave me a super close match. He played really defensive, played really focused. He understood the sequencing the deck in a really good way where I'm just not going to be able to consistently clear his unisons. I still pressured him. I still ripped his hand. I still, put in the work, as they would say. And then at the end, I had 20-something cards left in deck, and he did Oceanus. He tapped out for that. And I took the Oceanus challenge. He did a few counterattacks here and there. and they ended up having to play the token. What do you call it? He ended up using his Mighty Blast to play a Shadow Clone token, and he said it's just a 10k. So I went, cool. I'm gonna pay one, play Boo's Unison, and just KO it since it's less than 15k. And yeah, I popped it, and I just swung with Boo, milling myself down to 5 cards left in deck. So I have 5 left in deck before I start comboing, and I just proceeded to dump my hand. I had 4 super combos, so I went down to 1 card left in deck, and I got the W there. It was a very close game though, but yeah, overall, it was a great event. It was a great time. It was nice seeing my teammates Raymond and Jamal show up as well, and they did fantastic as well. Jamal lost to Sublet in the finals. He was on Blue Bojack, and he lost to Yellow U7. Raymond was on Tapion. He did some work as well. It was a great time. Got to see a lot of friends, a lot of my local buddies, and even though there wasn't a too high of a count, it was only like 36 players, so it wasn't like something crazy. But there was actually a lot of like pretty solid players that were there. So it was a good time. It was a nice event. It was nice, quick, and we got to chill and have a good day. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and till next time, yeah. Ciao.